Behind every brand, every movement, every leader, every transformation, there's a story. And intertwined in these stories is a message. And this podcast is for you, the next gen leader, coach, entrepreneur, and influencer. My name is Travis Brady, and I'm a branding mentor and sales story strategist. I hope you see me more of a guide than a host as I share the stories behind the brands, so you can take these stories, experiences, principles, and teachings and use them to share your story with the world. What is up? Welcome to the story behind the brand. I am your brand alchemist, Travis Brady. Very honored to be here, and I'm glad you're joining me here today because we're going to be talking about one of the most important conversations in life. Not just business, but life. We're going to talk about what it means to actually brand, what it means to actually build a brand. Because here's the thing, branding has been branded. It's my favorite saying because everyone has a different idea of what building a brand means. And here's the thing that I've noticed based upon how you interpret something, okay, or define something. And a lot of things that we define is very unconscious. So how we define things consciously or unconsciously is how we execute. Because whatever we believe, we do. Whatever we do, we have. And the brand is the foundation of your business. So if we believe something inefficient or missing concepts or philosophies or ideologies of branding, now we're executing on something that's not true. And now we're not going to be getting the result because branding is in everything. Okay. In everything you do in business, because there's a sales process. We just got off the phone with a sales team. Okay. We're trying to brand the sales process. Okay. What's the frame that we want to present? What's the story? Okay. What's the steps? Is it the same brand that's going to be consistent across every time someone comes across this organically or through ads? Okay. What's that brand and process? Marketing. Okay, what's your brand and process? What's your structure? What's your philosophy when it comes to marketing? Okay, and then what is the brand itself? What does it represent? And if you're anything like me, okay, you would have thought branding stupid, it's superficial, and I don't want to be a part of any of that fake shit. Okay, and I would have to agree with most people. Okay, it is fake, it is superficial, it's dumb, and I don't know why you would do it. Because most people's ideology of a brand is a logo, a graphic, a catchphrase. Someone asked me the other day, which catchphrase do you like? Which slogan do you want? And I said, truthfully, it doesn't really matter. And they're like, what are you talking about? You're the branding guy. Okay. And so I want to go in today why that question wasn't a good question to really ask. Okay. And I want to talk about the layers of branding. Okay. And I talk about, depending upon which videos you've watched or content you've watched, I talk about all these pieces and it's kind of everywhere. So I want to set the record straight. Okay. And before I do, okay, I want to really help you understand how important branding really is. It's the foundation. Okay. And that foundation lays at the bottom for everything to be building across. One of the things that I truly believe is that the heart of your business is the brand. Okay, the blood is the marketing. And if there's not a big heart or there's not enough blood pumping, your business is done. And here's the thing. Here's the thing. Everything you want in life requires you to be incredible at branding and marketing. Okay, the vacations you want to go on, the house you want to live in, the school you want to be able to pay for your kids, the clothes, okay, the trips. I already said that. I'm going to say it again because you want to go on lots of trips. Okay, the people you want to hang around, the restaurants you want to eat, the food you want to eat, the upgrades you want to do in your house, everything you want in life requires you to be phenomenal at brand marketing. So why are we taking this so lightly? I was at a mastermind years ago and I had a chance to talk to Andy Frisella and he spoke to the group. Okay. And he said, here's one of the biggest things that I can tell you. Okay. Stop making the same mistakes over and over again. But how many of us do that? How many of us wake up at the first of the month and go, where's my leads? I have no money coming in. Dude, that's the same problem you had last month. Dude, that's the same problem you had the month before. Okay, that's the same problem you had last year. And if you don't learn how to solve that problem at a really high level, you're going to go work for someone that does know how to solve that problem, that does know how to brand, that does know how to sell, that does how to market. And all those things come back to the brand. Have you ever tried to sell something you're not passionate about? Have you ever tried to sell something that you're kind of passionate about? Okay. Have you ever been in a place in your business where you're so secure and confident in what you have offering? And then you have those days where it's a little shaken? It's because the brand was shaken. Okay. So I want to talk about all those layers that's associated with branding. Okay. This is a very important conversation. I used to start off as business coaching. Okay. But what I realized really, really fast is I shouldn't just be business coaching. I should be really teaching people how to build a personal brand. Okay. Branding is everything. Okay. Protect your brand with everything, love your brand with everything, because it is everything and it will always be everything. And especially in the digital age of AI, are you kidding me? Are you kidding me? In the digital age of AI and you're not taking your brand more seriously? Okay, I need to take my brand more seriously. You need to take your brand. We all need to take our brand more seriously because it is everything. Okay, so I want to go over, all right, what is branding? So I have a little cheat sheet because I want to make sure I'm getting across all my points because I'm jam packing so much content in today's episode. It's literally ridiculous. So, where does it all begin? Okay. Most people think branding is the visuals. Visuals is literally like out here. Okay. We want to go to the core of it. Okay. And the core of it, okay, the very, very core of it is, what do you believe about why you're here? Okay. And some of these beliefs come back to our religious or spiritual beliefs. Okay. And here's how I define the difference. Religious beliefs is learning through other people's experiences. You're taking other people's experiences, okay, and you're forming your beliefs. And spirituality is through your own experiences. And I think they're both important. I think to gain a true testimony, I think you need to understand your experiences, but I think you need to hear experiences around you. Okay. So I think they're both experience. Okay. Why are you here? How are you created? Does God exist? Does God not exist? Who is God? How was God created? Okay. What happens when we die? Then what? What does that mean about this life? What does that mean how we execute it? Am I destined to do something? Is there no such thing as destiny? Am I supposed to find a specific purpose that God wants me to find? Or does God not give you a purpose at all? Okay. Why do you believe? And I think we need to challenge our beliefs a little bit more. And I think we should always be challenging that. Okay. Because I think when we do, we're able to come to a deeper truth. Okay. So what do you believe? Okay. And based upon what do we believe, what does that mean you should do? What do you need to do? Are you doing it? Okay. Confidence is super simple. I will make confidence so simple for you right now. Confidence is doing the shit that you know you need to be doing. There's confidence. Okay. Are you getting sleep like you're supposed to? Are you taking care of the body the way you're supposed to? Are you treating other people with respect and love the way you're supposed to? Okay. Confidence is literally that simple. Doing the shit you tell other people to do. Okay. There's a brand. And then lastly is what you have. Okay. Or what you've experienced. Okay. So that's at the core of your brand. Okay. Super simple. Whatever you believe, you do. Whatever you do, you have. Now, from those, now we start to go out to that next layer. Okay. And that next layer is, what are your values? Okay. You could also say, what are your priorities? And here's the thing that I think people do. I ask people, what are your values? And what they do is they go through a Rolodex in their life. Okay. And they go to something that might be painful for them. Like someone just was not there for them. Okay. And now in their life, they're like, trust is an important value to me. I need to be able to trust people. Okay. And it's not necessarily that value is important. Okay. It's the fact that there's a pain right now. And now you decided to form a value around what's happening in your life. And I think that's a really bad way of putting together your values. I think the better way of really finding your values is what are the things that I've unconsciously done over the years, okay, that align the most with values. Okay. So one of the most important values to me, okay, is loyalty. Loyalty is like one of my top values. Okay. It's always been a top value for me. Okay. Faith recently has been a top value. Okay. Passion, okay, is a top value. I'm very passionate about things. Okay. Purpose, okay, having a divine purpose and something that's meaningful, something bigger upon yourself. So these are things that again that I've naturally done over the years. So instead of trying to say, "Oh, these are my values," okay, why don't we look at what are the things that you're actually valuing right now in your life? And you probably have tons of values, okay? And coming back to confidence, every time you break some of those values, okay, you break your brand confidence. Okay. So we got your being in the middle. What are you, what are you being? And another word is who do you believe you are? Who do you believe you are at your core? No bullshit. You and God. Who do you believe you are at your core? What type of person are you? Okay. And then next we go to our values. And then next we go out to what I refer to as our four W's. Okay. Four W's is the four messages, and these messages align with the different archetypes within us. Okay. And I've talked about this before lots of times. We got the lover, okay, which is more about connection and, of course, love, right? And the lover wants to answer the question why. So when you're talking to a lover, you're going to ask them, why is this important? Or here's why we need to do this. Okay, the next one is the magician. Magician's all about the ABCs and the one, two, threes, and it needs to stay super organized. And so when you're talking to a magician, okay, the magician, you're going to say, hey, here's the way we do it. It's your overall philosophy. Do you have a brand philosophy? Do you have a sales philosophy? Do you have a marketing philosophy? Okay. And if we don't have philosophies, if we don't have a framework or a structure, okay, we don't have a guiding set of principles. Your formula is like your bumper things when you go bowling. I don't know what they're called, right? You can't ever throw a gutter ball because you have the bumpers on the side to help you stay in the lanes. Okay. And especially when it comes to building a team, do you give your team a philosophy, a brand philosophy to stay within? Okay. The next one is the warrior. Okay. The warrior is the action taker, it's the doer. Okay. And the warrior wants to know, who are you? Okay. Are you the type of person that helps me? Okay. Are we who similar? Okay. And so a warrior wants to know, can you empathize with my pain? Can you empathize? That's how you really connect to the warrior. Okay. The warrior archetype. Can you empathize with the pain? And the truth of it is, we will connect more through our struggles than we will through our successes. Okay. We will connect more through the things that we hate versus the things we love. I was talking to this guy the other day about COVID. Okay. And all that shit. Okay, that happened. And we connected, we bonded over the fact that we both thought it was bullshit. Okay. And then lastly is the king. Okay. In the feminine is the queen. Okay. And the king is your grand visionary. They're all about being. Okay. They want to know what the result is. I don't care why. I don't care way. I don't care who you. I want to know what the result is that we're creating here. Okay. So I refer to those as the four W's. Okay. I talk extensively about them. That's one of the main frameworks that I work with. So that's my way, per se. Okay. And then now, all right. What's the story that encapsulates the values, your being, okay, and those four W's? What's the story? Because as the saying goes, facts tell, stories sell. You could tell me you're loyal, but I want to hear a story of loyalty. Okay, don't tell me you're genuine. Don't tell me you're authentic. Okay, I fucking hate that. I don't know why. That word is just overused. Authentic, authentic. Okay, the only authentic thing in this entire universe is God. He's the original source. We're all just copies. We're all just copies. Now, you could say I'm authentic to me, Okay, in my being, but I would term that more being genuine. Okay. But, anyways, what's the story? Facts tell, stories sell. Facts inform, stories transform. All right. And this is one of the top things that is associated with your brand. Okay. There's so many things that I've heard over the years that I just love that people said about branding. Branding is what people say about you behind your back. Branding is the energy and the feeling that you bring to the room. Okay. Branding, okay, is really its own being by itself. Your brand has its own identity, okay, its own way of, so I always look at brand X. I always look at what is brand X's being. Okay. What's the being? Okay. And I actually skipped one real quick. I want to jump back because this is super important, which is in between the four W's in the story. I got ahead of myself. Okay. Which is the culture. Okay. And this is something that most people don't think about. The culture builds the brand more than the brand builds the brand. Okay. And I didn't really understand this years ago. I didn't understand how utterly important it is to be building a culture. Okay. What is your culture? Okay. Your culture is your clients. Your culture is your team members. Your culture is the communities you create. So there's essentially three parts of a culture: it's your clients, it's your team members, and then it is also the community you build. And so, one of the biggest mistakes I see people make when building a personal brand is they forget how important it is to brand a culture. Okay. And the branded culture should be in association with your four W's. Okay. Is this making sense to you? All right. Most people overlook the culture, they don't go all in on it. And in fact, I would say this: personal branding is very counterintuitive. Even though it's personal, okay, it needs to be personable to that person. That person needs to be able to look at your brand or be around your brand or see your brand and be able, that speaks to me. That is me. Okay, Nike, that's a culture. Under Armour, that's a culture. Okay, what's the culture of your brand? Okay, personal branding might be about you, but it's not for you. Okay, a personal brand is someone who says, "Fuck me. This is what I believe. This is my vision. This is the mission I'm on." And they're so dedicated to that vision and mission, okay, that they are elected by the people naturally to be the leader of that culture. You are the leader of your culture because you stand for the thing that people also stand for. All right. Okay. I stand for getting out all this bullshit ingredients in your food. I stand for real estate and helping you create generational wealth. Okay. What is it that you stand for? What is it that you will march to Washington, D.C. for? Okay. And a great example of this is Martin Luther King Jr. Okay. Martin Luther King didn't get up and go, "I got a plan, guys. Here's what we're going to do to get equality." He said, "I have a dream that every man, woman, and child should be free." Actually, didn't do that very good. "I have a dream that every man, woman, and child should be free, regardless of the color." Okay. And every one of different races showed up because he believed what they believe, that every man, woman, child should be free, regardless of your color. Okay. What's the brand you stand for? What's the thing that people can get behind? Okay. Sometimes, and again, this comes back to my original statement. Okay. This is why branding feels inauthentic and fake sometimes, is because they're like, "Oh, about me. It's about me." And they mess up branding before they even started. And so now they remove themselves from the conversation, and now they're struggling in their marketing because they don't know their messages. Okay. They're struggling really building this community because, they don't understand all the details about themselves and what they stand for. Okay. Is this making sense? Okay, then we go on to the story that encapsulates it. Okay, and then we get to the latest part of it, which everyone thinks branding really is. Okay, it's because it's literally the close on top, which is the visuals. Okay, branding's not a logo, but it's not a logo. Okay, branding isn't a website, but it's not a website. Okay. Branding isn't some hype sizzle reel, but it's not a sizzle reel. Okay. And I've been so boisterous lately about branding's not a logo, branding's not a website. But then I look out there, how many people don't even have a logo? They don't have a website. Okay. You don't have a community. You don't have uniform across all your social medias. Okay. Because the truth of it is, you're going to judge me when you first see me. Okay. We form judgments as soon as we start seeing someone. Like it or not, that's just the way we are as human beings. Okay. So we got to understand that. All right. So I want to repeat back all of this. So at the middle, it's you. It's your relationship with you. It's your being. It's what you do every single day. It's the experience you've had. Okay. It's your deepest life beliefs about all those things. Then we get to the next one, your values. Okay. What do you stand for? And you've heard the saying, if you stand for nothing, you fall for anything. Okay. Next, we get to the four W's. Okay. Why do you do it? What's the way you do it? Who do you work with? And what's the transformation? What's the culture? Okay. What's the community that you're building? Okay. And then we get to the story that encapsulates all of that. Okay. It's kind of like a vitamin, right? You take the vitamin out and it has all the ingredients. So the story is the capsule to all the ingredients inside that vitamin. Okay. And then on top, what does the capsule look like? Okay, is it shiny? Is it you got the is it when I pick up your vitamin, does it look cool? Does it look like something that catches my attention? Okay. And so what companies do is they abuse branding. They abuse branding. They put these really awesome containers and they spend all the money and they have this really awesome visual. But then inside this capsule is shit. But guess what? They make money from it. Why? Because they understand how important those things are. But that's not you. You want to make sure good ingredients are in there. You want to make sure that it is making a difference in someone's life. Okay. And so if you're if you're listening to this right now, my challenge for you is even if you feel like you've gone through a branding process right now, I challenge you to go back through it. I challenge you to rediscover you. Okay. And sometimes, and here's what I've noticed lately is rediscovering you, okay, sometimes requires you to go through the darkness. And and I've had some of the hardest times in business this last few years. And if you've known me, I've went through a divorce. I had other things going on in my life. And it's just like I wake it up and I'm just like, what am I doing? And part of me said, I don't even want to do this anymore. Okay. I don't even want to do this. Fuck this shit. How many times as entrepreneurs do we say that? Fuck this shit. I'm done. And what we need to be done with, we need to be done with our old brand. That's telling you, that's your soul telling you something has to transform. Okay. A suicidal urge is not wrong. Okay. Which I've experienced that in the last couple of years. Okay. What's wrong is how we go about it, which is actually taking our lives. All a suicidal urge means is your soul is unhappy with the way your body is expressing itself. It's not in alignment. So the truth of it is you do need to kill a version of yourself. You do need to kill that old brand. Okay, they say every 7 years, every single cell in our body literally is recreated. We are literally a different person every 7 years. Have we branded ourselves every 7 years? Have we gone back through that process? Okay. So whether I'm working with someone that's just started or someone that has a multiple seven-figure business, we got to go back to all these different layers of the brand. Okay. We got to rediscover that next brand. Okay. And I don't know where you're at, okay, in your business or in life. If you're listening right now, you have a service based business, you're making over six, seven figures, and you're really trying to understand what is that next thing in my life. You need to go back through the branding process. We need to rediscover you. Okay. And let me remind you Let me remind you, because oftentimes we need more reminded than we need to be told something new. Let me remind you, you are more loved than you could ever imagine. And sometimes we have to go through those dark places in my life, which I did. And I have to be reminded of me. I have to be reminded of my purpose. I have to be reminded of all these things because we need reminded more than we need to learn something. Okay. And that's what branding is. It's reminding you about who you really are. It's reminding you that you are a spiritual being. It's reminding you that you are infinite and you are everlasting. It's reminding you of your true influence. It's reminding you that people get on their knees and they pray for someone like you to show up in their life, reminding you of all the lives you've already changed. Did you forget? Did you forget? Because I'm here to remind you of those things. And I'm getting super passionate about this right now because I see people go through these hard times. Then we start to second guess ourselves. We got ants in our head, automatic negative talkers. And these automatic negative talkers come from people of the past that probably don't care about you. They don't love you and they want to see you fail. And the fact that you give so much energy to them fucking frustrates me because I see the gifts of what you have. And we need to be around people that see the gifts of what we have. Okay. And when you've built the community through your brand, they're going to remind you. But here's the thing. Here's the thing. You can't wait for that. You can't wait for someone to come to remind you. You have to remind you. You have to talk to God. God needs to remind you. He probably reminds you all the time. You're just not tapped into it. Okay. Branding is not branding. Branding is life. It's the frame of which you look at something, and it's in everything we do. Tatum, do you want a quesadilla? No. Tatum, do you want a cheesy chicken quesadilla? Okay. The way we present ourselves and showcase ourselves is everything. It's in our voice. It's in our clothes. It's in the car we pull up in. It's in the house we live in. It's the way we talk to the waiter. It's the way we treat our friends. It's our friends around us. It's the frame. The frame is everything about you. Frame is everything in business. And the way we frame things creates a context and a narrative. And once you get a narrative going in the right direction for you, okay, it's hard to stop it. But sometimes we don't get that narrative. We don't get that brand rolling in the right direction. Now we feel like business is so hard. We feel like it's on an uphill battle. Okay. And they say this in politics, whoever comes into the situation first and sets the narrative, it's really hard to break that narrative. Okay. Who's ever to the new scene first sets the narrative. Who's setting the narrative for your life? Okay. Are you setting the narrative? Okay. Because every word you whisper has frequency, it creates a narrative. Okay. Whether that's positive or negative, you create that narrative. Okay. So I'm here to remind you that you are so much more influential than you realize. At such a deep level, you are so much more influential than you realize. Okay. And if you're really ready to go even on a deeper level than what we've talked about, I have one of the greatest gifts that I've ever created. It really is. This is the thing that I put my heart and soul, and I've been so vulnerable through the process. I created this docu series called Finding Your Brand X Factor. Okay, I call it your brand alchemist journey, kind of like the alchemist. Okay, the alchemist, if you've read the book, okay, he goes on this journey to find his gold. Okay, and along the way, he falls in love, he gets stolen from, he develops all these ups and downs, twists and turns, and he gets to the pyramids where he thought his wealth, and he realizes, okay, he finds out that the gold was back where he began his whole journey, and that the real wealth was in his experiences. And I'd say the same thing for you. Okay, the real gold is back into you. It's in you, and the real wealth is the experiences. It's your story. Okay, and so the Brand Alchemist journey, which is found at findyourbrandxfactor.com. Okay, findyourbrandxfactor.com will unlock something incredible. I have a branding blueprint. I have a marketing book. I have a rediscovering your archetypes. I have a marketing quiz. I think I already said that. um, I have access to communities I'm building. And there's one more really, really awesome surprise in there that I reach out to, and it's a actual session with me. Okay, there's no obligation. Sit down, let's get to meet each other. Okay, but I'm only going to meet with people that go through the entire journey. Okay, so just let me be clear. All right, and that's pretty much all I have for you today. Appreciate you joining. And if you feel like this podcast can benefit someone, please share the podcast. Okay. I greatly appreciate that. Give me a review. That's all I really ask for. I've been doing a podcast for almost 10 years now. Next year, probably around this time, will be 10 years. Okay. And I've loved every second of it. And you should absolutely have your own channel and podcast as well. Okay. I, I just can't even explain it. Okay. So again, thanks for joining me here today. I always leave with my tagline. Okay. Be inspired. Okay. Inspiration means in spirit. We need to be in spirit. We need to be inspired. Okay. You are the brand X factor. You are the X factor. Okay. What's X mean in math? It can mean anything. Can multiply anything. You are the X factor. And I truly believe that you have a story that can transform the world. And it doesn't transform any lives if we don't get it out there in the world. Okay. I would love to help you do that. Okay. Make sure you follow me on Instagram, Travis Brady Brands. Okay. I'll see you at another point in time for future podcasts or videos. And as always, good talk.
Hey, you know you have a story to share with the world, which means you need to get on more life stages. We have a jam-packed schedule in 2024 full of events, including our biggest event year to date, Brand X. Go to benextgen.com/speak. Again, benextgen.com/speak. Or you could just click the link in the description. Fill out an application, our team will reach out to you and show you how our speaker partnership works. Get on a stage, get video, blow up your brand, blow up your business. Let's go.